Hey everybody, this is Tom with The Board Gamer. Today, we're going to do a quick overview and review for this game. If you want the full how-to, go ahead and click this icon up here or the link in the description. Now let's get into it.
Let's Go to Japan is a 1 to 5 player game for ages 10 and up with an average gameplay length of 45 minutes, published by AEG. The basic overview of Let's Go to Japan has players over the course of 13 rounds playing and passing cards in an attempt to play 3 cards on each day and collect bonuses for matching icons to the day's favorable condition. After the 13th round, once all players have filled their week, the game will end and players will go on their trip by increasing their experience on their experience track in relation to the number of icons collected, and score for each individual day along with mood, final location of experience tokens, train tickets, and research tokens. And the player with the most points wins.
Let's Go to Japan is a set collecting game with popular activities that people might like to do in Japan. And the game mechanic of the set collecting and not being able to move cards around once played make for a compelling gameplay. But the way that the theme is displayed is a bit of a letdown and can almost be ignored entirely and still play well, which is a positive for the game mechanics, but a negative for art and theming. Is this enough to go out and get yourself a copy? Or is this one you play in passing whenever it comes up? Let's go to the rest of the review and find out. The components of the game mostly consist of cards, half of which depict activities that can be done in Tokyo and the other half in Kyoto. The iconography on each of the cards are bright and bold and placed very well, not only when looking at the card, but when playing the card to show everything you need to know without an overabundance of distractions. Gameplay-wise, this is a huge positive. Unfortunately for me, this was a huge negative in theming, but I will talk more about that later. The tokens in the game match the iconography that they are referring to, and the mood trackers are cute little faces that can show the joy you may have or the stress that can occur, especially when on a trip. The player boards themselves help keep things organized, but for the most part, along with the tokens placed on them, they seem more like placeholders since nothing changes or moves on them until all cards have been played and scoring begins. Everything, component-wise, in this game seems very muted, especially for the game that is focused on a place like Japan. Personally, I would have preferred an Edo-style art to keep with kind of the muted feel of the game, or even a flashy anime/Harajuku style to make it stand out. But that was not the direction they went in with Let's Go to Japan. I mentioned earlier about how good the iconography is for this game. To continue on from there, we can look at the turn tracker. Every round starts a little different, but for the most part, the playing of a card or cards and passing of the cards does not change. Since there is not really any player interaction when actively playing, no one can really get left behind. The next round cannot start till after everyone has finished the previous round. And whether for better or worse, the cards are very straightforward, and the flavor art and text doesn't really matter at all for gameplay, even though it takes up a good chunk of the card. You just need to take a look at the top icons and see if they match the icon on your board if you want that bonus, or just play it wherever you want, so long as you do not already have 3 cards played on that day. Let's Go to Japan is a quick and easy game to pick up and play with great ease. When discussing luck and strategy for Let's Go to Japan, I would have to lean more towards luck, but only in the cards you get throughout the game, not how you decide to play them. Every round usually gives you a new set of options to choose from, unless you and your neighbor keep handing each other the same cards back and forth, which can happen. It will always help if you play cards to get bonuses, such as train tickets or research tokens, to help you either travel more or just get a new set of cards to look through. But even with these strategies to work around, you will always be relying on the luck of the draw since you can never just skip a turn. you must always play a card on your turn. There are plenty of days to play cards on, so you can always find a way to balance things. With Let's Go to Japan being a somewhat quick and easy game, it is great for newcomers or for when you're just short on time. And the gameplay itself is fun and compelling. It has that early self-confidence that lets you feel like you can do anything. As the game goes on, your moves are more and more restricted, making the tension rise a bit, but in a fun way, which is good for any game, especially when it can consistently do it with every game, not just once you get the most optimal strategy. Now, for the table presence, and well, the amount of table it takes up, it loses a few points. When bringing out a game, or having a game already set up when people come over, I want there to be something eye-catching, making players want to play the game, or something memorable, so they want to play the game again. But its muted looks make it a little bit of a game you have to sell for a few times to get everyone on board, rather than something people gravitate to. So if you can get people to play it, they will likely enjoy it, but how many times is up in the air. I want to continue on a bit with what I was saying earlier about how muted Let's Go to Japan seems. I think that might be because the game is Let's Go, not Let's Go to Japan. Japan is like a subcategory. So this just might be the Let's Go art style or theme, and Japan was just the first location in this line of games, which gives a reason for the art not to reflect what people think of when they think of Japan. But in my opinion, this really hurts the game. I am a fan of Japan and have been lucky enough to have traveled there. It just did not seem as connected to what can be seen and experienced, at least not from the tourist perspective. You could really plaster any destination on this game and it be the same and not many would notice, which might be the plan if it's a Let's Go series and not a game just about Japan. Personally, I'm really conflicted when it comes to this game. I really like the gameplay, and to be honest, that should matter most when it comes to board games. But with the high quality of games that are coming out every year, it just fell a little flat with its wow factor. And I like to be wowed. But part of why I made this channel was to explore whether a game was boring. And there are great games out there that I find boring, and there are bad games out there that I find highly entertaining. I have to be honest and say this board gamer says, Let's Go to Japan is a destination worth trying for its gameplay, but a lackluster destination for its wow factor. Not boring, but not amazing either. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notified about new videos. If you're bored now, click this for more games.